Hey guys, welcome to Ringsiders Wrestling. We are once again joined by the legendary Jimmy Korderas. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great, guys. How are you?
Can't
Wonderful.
complain.
Can't complain. Can't complain. Yes, we've just had a. Well, I don't know whereabouts Callum. Me and Callum live at different ends of the city, so I've just had a thunderstorm with thunder and
Massive
lightning.
thunderstorm.
Yeah,
Massive. Biggest in a decade, I'd say. Can't remember last time we had one like that.
yeah.
Insane.
It has
Really?
just absolutely chucked it down with rain, and of course, my wife left the shopping in the car. Guess who has to go and get it? So,
Of course,
yeah.
that's your job. That's what you're designated to do.
That
You
is
know,
my job, yes. So what a
either
wonderful.
that or you carry it and or you hold the umbrella for her while she runs to the
Yeah,
house.
Yeah,
yeah,
it's not going to
yeah.
happen.
Either way, I was getting wet. So.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So it's great to have you back, Jimmy, as well. I really appreciate it. Like we said off camera, it's a big deal to us, man. We've followed you from I mean, I've been a fan since 1988, so obviously,
Wow.
I wasn't born then, but
yeah.
it's a long time for me too.
Oh, thanks for dating me there, Callum.
Well,
No,
I was born the year after. I was born in '89. So
oh, 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 wait. So
I'm
never mind. I'm not
36.
going to go down that road. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm
That's
a
amazing.
1984 child, so I started watching back then. But I was going to talk to you about a few things happening in the wrestling world, obviously. But
Hmm.
um, just so everybody knows, I said again, I have read your book. I read it in 2 days. Um, it was a wonderful read. People that know me know that my wrestling thing is books. I have loads of
Mhm.
books, copied, signed copies. I read yours in 2 days, Jimmy. So I mean. I didn't get into it much in the last episode, but how did the book come about? The idea for the book and then getting it sorted.
Well, the idea actually came from my wife. She was the one who said, because I've always, I'd be walking around the house and then I'd be talking to friends and talking to her and telling her stories about this and that. And she says, write those down. Those are good stories. You can write a book. I said, yeah, but nobody wants to read about it. She goes, sure they do. Wrestling fans are interested, especially coming from a different perspective, because a lot of wrestlers would write their autobiographies and talk about their experiences, but she goes, I don't really think there's a book out there from a referee's,
Hmm.
perspective. And I said, well, that's interesting. So I started jotting down notes and bullet points of stories and stuff like that. And then I just started. She said, now it's time to sit down and write. She says, write it. Excuse me, I had to clear my throat there. So I began the process of trying to write it and write it, and I'm not a writer per se. So there's a fella here in Toronto who has written several books. His name is Greg Oliver.
Hmm.
He's written several wrestling books. So I asked him to take a look
I'm
at it.
familiar with the name.
Yes, yeah, I asked him to take a look at it for me so he can just give me an idea. You know, hey, you know what? Touch this up a little bit, elaborate on this a little bit, and that sort of stuff. And he sort of gave me some advice. So he helped me clean it up a little, and then we submitted it to the publisher. He said, "Great, we're going to go with it," and that was great. But it all started from the missus.
Well, they are always right. Let's
Yeah, I discovered that really, really quickly.
Yeah, you and me both. You and me both. But it is a really wonderful read. I know Callum wants to borrow it off me, don't you,
I
Callum?
do.
But,
Yeah.
I literally read it in 2 days, and some of the stories in there. I mean, I can ask you some of the stories, but some of the people mentioned as well. You're the first person I think we've ever spoken to as well who I can actually ask what it was like to be around Andre. I mean, what was Andre like to be around?
I mean, how do you explain Andre? Larger than life presence.
Mm,
The man was a legend. It was an icon, and um, I don't want to say it was intimidating being around him, but you knew you were around somebody special.
Mm.
yeah.
So, and if Andre liked you, well, you were gold. You were golden. You know what I mean? And I was fortunate enough for me the first time I met him. Obviously a little intimidated as a youngster. Just starting out with the promotion here in Canada with Jack Tunney, who was the Canadian arm of the
Yeah.
WWF at the time. And, like here he is, and he just throws me the keys to his Cadillac and he says, go up to the Marriott and pick up Andre by the airport. I said, okay. You know, I'm trying to be professional. Yes, sir, I'll go. But inside, I'm going, oh my God, I'm going to go pick up Andre the Giant at the airport. Oh my goodness. You know what I mean? So when I got there, you know, I introduced myself to him. I said, I'm Jim. I work for Jack. I'm here to take you down to Maple Leaf Gardens for the show. And hey, Jimbo, come on, have a drink. And, you know, I'm like, okay, but what am I supposed to say? You know, I learned fast that nobody says no to Andre.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So I thought to myself, it won't hurt to have one. But as I found out quickly, no one ever has one with Andre.
But that was going to be my first question. Because
Yeah, because
I,
now going through my mind, I'm thinking I have to drive. And
Yeah.
that day, Timmy White was usually the one who traveled with Andre.
Hmm.
But that weekend, Timmy was off. I couldn't tell you why, but there's a deserved weekend off. So Danny Davis was traveling with Andre at that time.
Right.
So Danny comes down and we meet up, and as we get to the car and we load up the car, you know, Danny sits up front and Andre's in the back because he needs all the room. Danny looks at me and goes, "You okay to drive?" And I said, "I think so." And he says to me, "Do you want me to drive?" I said, "Under any other circumstances, I would say yes. But if we show up and you're driving and I'm not, that's my butt." You know what I mean? You know, here we go. I'm out the door before I even got in.
so it's all true about Andre the Giant and how much that guy could drink, because you hear the stories.
I know, and people think that they're embellished. They're not.
Right.
There's no embellishment with Andre stories and drinking.
Because you hear them and you think, how can anybody drink that much? Because it's not like one or two or 10 beers, it's like 20 in one session. And
Yes,
or more.
yes, easily, and also, you know, paying for others, treating the
Yeah.
boys as well. You know, he was that kind of. And then when when he gets up and does karaoke, now that's special moment. That
It just sounds like everyone always says like Andre the Giant was the original attraction in wrestling. You know, when like you think the Undertaker was an attraction, someone that you see on a poster and you have to go see them at the show. Andre the Giant, I mean, like you said, you'll never see anybody in your life like Andre the Giant, and you can see it. You can see tall people every day, but there's no one like Andre the Giant. He was a spectacle, and it sounds like he was a spectacle in the ring, but also outside the ring too, as a friend, as a peer.
Yes, he was special. In I would argue that there have been superstars all over the world. Like you've had superstars in Japan, like the Ricky Dozens
Yeah.
and the Antonio Inokis and the Giant Babas, all icons in Japan.
Mhm.
There are other superstars from the past here in the United States and Canada and North America that were huge stars. But outside of their region, even in the UK where you guys are, every place had their superstars. I think Andre, in my opinion, was the first global superstar.
Yeah,
If you
Agreed.
talk about wrestling, everybody around the world knew the name Andre the Giant.
Yep. A
and
million
I think
percent.
I think in some ways they kind of tried to, in a good way, imitate Andre the Giant in the UK. We had Giant Haystacks and Big Daddy,
Yes,
and
I'm familiar with him. Yes.
we tried to have our own thing. You know, there were draws in the UK, definitely in the
Yeah.
golden era of British wrestling, but you could tell that there was an influence there of like we need to make our own Andre the Giant. But
Yeah.
I do believe that Jamie might know actually as well. I'm sure there was matches between Andre the Giant and Giant Haystacks, right?
I believe that because I think I do believe I'm not 100% sure, but
I'm sure I remember hearing that. That's a
yeah.
match I'd love to see in the
But
vault somewhere.
what I can tell you, and I can ask Jimmy because I can ask you about this next guy I'm going to mention as well as one of our own. I do remember watching in the UK. I think it was in Leeds, Giant Haystacks against Davy Boy.
Oh,
Yeah. I forget the year. Could be 93, 94, something, maybe earlier. But he's another guy. I mean, we haven't had much to talk about really. Davy Boy, what was Davy Boy like? As a fellow Brit, we have to ask you about Davy Boy.
Davy Boy. I always got along well with Davy Boy. Davy Boy was
A ripper.
he he wasn't a malicious ribber.
Mm.
Do you know what I mean? Like he
Yes.
liked having fun.
Yeah.
Um, Dynamite, on the other hand, Tommy was a little more aggressive with his ribbing,
Yes.
and it was almost like good cop, bad cop. You know, they would make a hell of a buddy movie. Good cop, bad cop. You know what I mean? So, but Davy Boy, he, he had a huge heart. I mean,
Mm.
he cared about others. He, like you said, he liked to rib, but his were more playful. Um, did he cross any lines? Not that I saw personally. I mean, but then again, some people take certain ribs to heart a little more than others,
Yes.
and they forget that if generally, if somebody ribs you, it means that you're accepted, that they like you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw
Yeah.
I saw the Undertaker saying that the other day actually to Kurt Angle, and he said they were talking doing an interview together, and the
Mhm.
Undertaker said, "Oh, I made your life hell for a few years," and Angle was like, "Yeah, I really thought you didn't like me," and he said, "No, the fact that I ribbed you for 5 years meant you were one of my best friends."
Right.
So yeah,
See, and sometimes it's hard for some of the guys to realize that. Like, for example, people have talked about wrestlers court.
Mhm.
Yes.
Now, the wrestlers court was not initiated to institute etiquette in the locker room. It was more of a playful thing to do on the road when the guys, are all together. You're on a 2 week tour of somewhere, and
Sure.
you're trying to kill some time and do something and entertain yourself. So, hey, so and so did this. Okay, let's have fun with it. JBL, you're the prosecutor. Taker is the judge. And let's have fun with this thing.
Mm.
So while this is going out, somebody goes out and gets a round of drinks for everybody, and you just have fun with it. It was
Yeah.
meant to be fun.
It's probably a way of bonding, isn't it, as well? Like playing ribs on each other. I imagine
Yes.
in the back, it's like a kind of a way of bonding. It's like having banter, ribbing people. It as long as it's not done maliciously, I imagine it's
Yeah.
quite fun.
And wasn't punishment for wrestlers caught to buy Taker a bottle of Jack? I mean, was that the
Yeah,
What's
that
it?
was the usual penance for,
yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
so how harmful is that? I mean,
Exactly. Yeah.
it's and he shared the bottle with everybody anyway, so what the heck?
Hey,
You
on
know,
the Go on, Jamie.
all right, go on.
I was going to say on the subject of like British wrestlers, we've mentioned quite a few already. One that I wanted to pick your brains about was William Regal. I'm sure you've had plenty of chance to work with Regal. Personally, I think he's in the top 10 entertainers for me in wrestling. He's an incredible technical wrestler, but
Underrated.
Like Kurt Angle, he's also an amazing funny man. He could play the straight man, the funny man. He was great in the ring. Everything he did made sense. I think he's severely underrated in that aspect. But what was it like working with William Regal? And is he as funny backstage as he seems? Because I've heard some stories.
Oh, William Regal is a gem.
Yeah.
Like you said, he is someone who could go toe to toe with anybody in the world from a technical standpoint.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But at the same time, he understood the portion of wrestling that a lot of that gets lost on some people in the generations throughout the generations, and not just today's wrestlers, but wrestlers of the past. Sometimes they forget that wrestling is also, and I know people hate this word, sports entertainment. It's an entertainment industry. You're trying to
Mhm.
entertain your audience,
Yeah.
and he understood that. And if you're a heel and you want to be entertaining, you have to be a little self-deprecating as well.
Yeah.
Let yourself be the butt of the joke. And he was more than happy to do it because he was so brilliant at it. It
So
was
good.
just it was incredible. And he has this quiet, calm demeanor about him. I mean, I could tell the story now because it finally broke on Busted Open when I was talking to Bully or Bubba when he was on. He said the one almost fist fight that he had with Devon, there was only two people that witnessed it. It was myself and William Regal. And when they were getting into it in the locker room, and like it got heated, they were nose to nose, face to face. It looked like, and I'm like, I'm not gonna get in the middle of this
Yeah.
thing. Are you kidding
No, I
me?
wouldn't. No.
And William Regal was there, and he kind of slides in between them, and he's calmly trying to get him to settle down. And he looks over at me, goes, I can't do the British accent, but just picture William Regal in this calming voice going, Jimmy, go out quietly outside and get some help. And I'm like, okay. So I slid outside. As soon as I got outside the door, there was Lance Storm and PJ, just incredible.
Mhm.
Yeah.
They were walking by, and I said, "Hey guys, they need your help in the locker room." He says, "Why? What's going on?" I said, "Just go in there. William Regal needs your help." As soon as I said William Regal's name, they went in.
Mhm.
And then I just kind of moonwalked away from there. I wasn't going back in there.
Yeah.
No.
But just his quiet, calming demeanor, and he was not just like that in a situation like that. He's like that with talent. Let's say they come back from a match,
Yeah.
and something happened in the match that the boss didn't like,
Yeah.
and they get an earful from the boss. Then you got the calming voice afterwards when they leave Gorilla. There's William Regal to talk to them and kind of calm them down and ask them questions. Do you understand what he was trying to tell you? Yes. Sometimes his way of explaining things is a little abrupt, but you know, and then you got that calming influence. He calms you back down. He has you thinking about what you did and makes you think about what you're going to do. A great presence to have in a locker room. Any locker room that has William Regal in it is more valuable.
100%. Yeah, and I think for the short time that AEW had him, I
Mhm.
I know for a fact there's so many people that have stories already about in that short time he gave them nothing but good advice. He was a great role model, helped coach people, and like you said, any locker room that gets William Regal, it's is a gem. And I just wanted to ask, because Regal to me is just such an underrated guy. I was watching him versus Fit Finlay from SmackDown. Can't remember the year, maybe 2007, 2008. And it's just such a fun little match on a throwaway SmackDown episode. But everything they do makes sense. Just two guys who really understand the craft. Everything they do. And even down to like, you can see Regal is on the floor, but he keeps his hands out in front of him so that Fit Finlay can stamp on his hands. It's like he's setting him up for moves and in the match.
Right.
And it's just when you break it down, you really understand like you can really have a good match doing very little and get the crowd invested. And is the absolute king of doing that.
That's the brilliance of those guys and Fit Finlay as well.
Mhm.
That they can do, like you said, the littlest things to elicit a reaction from the audience. And and that's where we're getting a little lost in today's world,
Yeah.
where
Yeah.
a lot of the talent think you have to do these incredibly spectacular and at times a little more risky moves
Yeah.
Mhm.
to get over with the audience. But all that does is get that momentary reaction.
Yeah.
It's like watching a fireworks display. Ooh,
True.
look at oh, that's beautiful. Nice, nice. Now, after that, you move on.
Yep.
Once you've
Now,
seen
what was
10
the same?
fireworks, you're not bothered by the 11th firework. You don't care anymore.
Yeah, because if everybody's doing it, then
Yep.
it's not special.
Yep.
See, they would those little things, like you said, stomping on the hands, little things like that, or a little tap with the shillelagh when the referee's not looking.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Oh,
And
that's another good example. I was watching Bob Holly versus Stevie Richards, and on paper you might think, oh, standard match. It wasn't. It was really good. Again, on a throwaway episode of Heat, I think it was. And it's Bob Holly. He's got Stevie Richards up for the Alabama Slam,
Selling
and
the back.
yes, and his Stevie Richards is holding onto the ropes, not letting go, and Bob Holly's selling the back because it's going on for about 2 minutes. And then finally, he gets him off, hits the Alabama Slam, sells his back, and then gets the cover, and the match is over. But
Mhm.
2 minutes of that match was fighting to hit the Alabama Slam, and fighting that he was, really struggling to do it. And you felt like at the end of it that Bob Holly really had to fight for that win. And
Mhm.
it was just such a simple match, but the finisher meant something at the end. When he finally got to hit it, it was a finisher, and it finished the match. And you don't see that nowadays, and that's not just an AEW Ring of Honor problem. You see that industry wide.
Across the
You see
board.
that in WWE
Yes.
across the board. Exactly. NXT. I mean, there was a point in NXT Black and Gold where they'd maybe have 5 finishes a match, and they'd act surprised that it didn't finish the match. The match every time. Like, they'd go, oh god, and it's like, why are you surprised? Finishes never work anymore.
That's one thing that has always, like, I've always said as the prime example to me is the DDT. Like, when Jake Roberts hit that DDT, you knew that was it.
Yes. Yeah.
Now everyone uses a DDT just as a move, and it's
Yeah.
Yes.
you know,
I think
A
finishers just need to be
transition.
yeah, they need to be protected.
They need to start working on it, like you said, across the board. It's happening a lot where it used to be where the only time someone would kick out of a finish was in a big match, a very big match,
Mhm.
and the stakes were very high. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
yes,
Now,
Yeah, like
when,
the Undertaker streak, for example.
yes. Now,
Yeah.
n- funny you mentioned the Undertaker and the Tombstone Pile Driver. I've I recall seeing a pay-per-view, I think you know which company I'm talking about, where I think there were 11 or 14 different variations of a pile driver on that show, and none of them were the finish. I mean, when I see stuff like that, I know I sound like the old man screaming at clouds and telling people to get off my lawn, but
I
at the
agree with
same
you.
time,
Yes.
they say people will argue, well, that's the evolution of the business. I said, okay, if it's not the evolution of the human body.
No.
Someone gets dropped
Good
on their
point.
head, they get dropped on their head. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter if it's 1920 or 2020. You know what I mean? Or
That's a
2020.
really good point. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? Everybody's neck muscles have evolved to be like,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the human anatomy hasn't changed, that's it.
right, right. And we're seeing it with the high risks. I hate seeing guys get injured. I really
Mhm.
do it. Anybody. It doesn't matter who it is. I hate seeing anybody get injured. That's why they need to work smarter and minimize the risks, because anytime they step in that ring, no matter what you do, there's always a chance you can get injured. It could be the smallest, stupidest little thing.
Mhm.
And all of a sudden, you turn the wrong way. There goes your hip. There goes a knee.
Yeah.
You know, so there's no need to increase that risk if you don't have to. I mean, but look at the arguments everybody makes about Hulk Hogan. Oh, he only had 3 moves. Well, guess what? That's all he needed.
Yes.
Yeah.
John Cena, the 5 moves of doom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you can have a career like John Cena and Hulk Hogan with only doing those moves, you did your job very well. Very well. If you made all of that box office money with 3 moves, fair play to you.
Right. No, 100%, 100%. And again, people forget that this is the wrestling business, not the wrestling hobby.
Mm,
It's
Yes.
a hobby for fans,
yeah.
and for me too. Now that I'm retired, and it's a hobby. I still love it. Still runs through my veins.
Yeah, it is that is interesting though, because you mentioned the T-Stone power drivers. We all know which company you mean. You see that a lot nowadays, where these moves get so dissolved. Like the Tombstone power driver, you're getting double-digit tombstones on a show. None of them are the finish. But like you
Mhm,
said, I remember watching. Oh, who was it? I think it was Batista, the Undertaker,
mhm,
and I remember seeing the Batista bomb on the Undertaker, and at that point, finishes meant something. So when he hit the Batista bomb, for those 3 seconds, no, 2 seconds before Unitas pinning him, you think the streak's over. It's got to be. If the Undertaker kicks out, hits the tombstone, Batista kicks out, and then finally another tombstone puts him away. And that's what's the point in having a finisher if it doesn't finish? I understand a false finish every now and then. That makes sense. It builds suspense, and like you said, in the right situation, it can add to a match. But
mhm.
when every single match has a false finish and finisher doesn't work, what what impact do you think that's having on the business as a whole? Do you think it's like where do we go from there? Does it have to change across the board?
I think it does, but you can't make the change overnight. You have to
No,
slowly transition towards it. And you mentioned the match between Undertaker and Batista. It was a three-way dance there, because you have to include the referee in there,
sure.
because it let me ask you, do you remember what the crowd reaction was for those two false finishes
Yeah.
with each? They jumped out of the seats. They thought that was it.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And that's the magic. That's the beauty. When you get the
Absolutely.
audience, you know, how many times have you watched a match where you said, I don't see so and so winning this match. There's no way. And it happens a lot. And yes. But the suspense is, and the magic is going into the match where your audience is not thinking, oh, well, this guy doesn't have a chance in hell of beating the champion on this night, but okay, I'll sit back and entertain the match. But if you get him and you have that little bit of doubt in your mind where they get you and they go, oh, maybe this will happen.
Yep.
All of a sudden you're thinking, you know what? Maybe he does have a chance. Maybe she does have a chance of beating so and so. And then when you get that false finish comes and you get that reaction where you got them, they said, "Oh, I thought that was it."
Yeah, James Ellsworth, AJ Styles for the WWE Championship, 2017. Nobody thought James Ellsworth stood a chance, and he didn't. Let's be honest. But
True.
he hit a super kick on him, and everybody in that crowd for 2 seconds thought that he was the new WWE champion. And when AJ kicked out, it was like, oh God, of course. Or another example, Santino Marella in the Elimination Chamber. It came down to him and Daniel Bryan. He hit the Cobra on Daniel Bryan. Everybody thought he was going to be the world champion. And like you said, when it's done right, it's such a good moment because the crowd comes out of the seat. It's magic. Yeah.
It is. I always say that. I said, when done right, there's nothing better on the face of this planet than wrestling. Pro wrestling.
Agreed. Yeah.
It is magic. But I have to ask you, Jimmy, first of all, there's so many stories and things I want to talk to you about. So you know for a fact I'm going to try and bring you back again in a few months because there's too many to talk about here. But let's chat about the rumor I'm hearing about WrestleMania Saudi Arabia. Have you heard that? I mean, what's your
I've seen the rumor circulating out there. It hasn't been made official yet, but until it's made official, it's all speculation. Apparently, I forgive me, I forget the gentleman's name in Saudi Arabia. It was the
is it Turkai, or I think he's called,
yes,
or something.
Yes, said something that WrestleMania will be coming there in 2027. It's interesting. I know obviously the money will be huge for TKO and the WWE. There's no doubt about that. The issue I have with it is WrestleMania is a travel destination.
Yeah.
And maybe they're trying to, at least the Saudi government are trying to open the doors for people to come and experience Saudi. I haven't been there in like forever. It was a different world when I went, obviously, many moons ago, but things have seemed to have are slowly changing there, I guess. So we shall see. Until it becomes official, I'm just going to say, oh, it's fun to speculate and let those people have their fun with it one way or another, because you're going to get the people who just are going to complain about it regardless. So
yeah,
I was just going to say, are you going to be prepared for the online backlash? It's
you know what, people think that I get upset about it. I actually laugh at it.
Yeah.
I do. I honestly do. And when people unfortunately cross a certain line, I'll just mute or block them. Whatever.
Yeah.
I don't need to deal with
that's what I do. Like the amount of people that I block, because it's just so much easier to do
sometimes,
that. It really is.
Sometimes I like to have fun, but
I love following you on
On
I think you're brilliant. It's you're never nasty. That's the thing. You'll debate with these people, and then
people don't like debating
unless you take a shot at my family. Then that's a different story.
Sure. Yeah, of course.
That's out of bounds.
I never find you to be, like Jamie said, I never find you to be nasty to people. You might, like, I don't know, follow up on it and quote and say something like, do you mind explaining why you have this opinion, or something like that? And they always just get so angry with you, Jimmy. And I just think it's mad.
Because they can't explain why.
Yeah.
All they could say exactly. All they could say is, "Oh my God, the big evil giant! Everybody there is this and that and this and that." So obviously, you must be a supporter of this, and you must be a supporter of that. And I said, "Where did you get this from?" Like, I can understand that stuff. I'm like, it doesn't matter what you post on any anti-social media site. It's somebody's going to be offended by it for some stupid reason. Somebody gets offended by the smallest little thing.
Oh, and I had it the other day. I was on Instagram. There's a wrestling page that I follow, and they put up. Somebody had put their Mount Rushmore, and it was the Hogan, Flair, Austin, Rock, I think, or Hogan, Austin, Rock, Cena. It was one of those.
Right.
And I gave my opinion. I said Hogan, Austin, Cena, but then I said I'd take the Rock out and put Andre in. My God, the backlash I got for having that opinion was
Andre
unbelievable.
the Giant.
Yes.
Yeah.
Andre the Giant.
And that's no disrespect to The Rock, but
No.
I'm picking Andre over The Rock. But that's my opinion.
You can't have opinions on wrestling, Jimmy.
Loud.
The backlash that I receive from people. How can you take off The Rock off? Whoever goes back and watches an Andre the Giant promo and this and that, I couldn't. I just ignored it in the end. Like,
yeah, easier to ignore it because that's just.
And it's something so subjective, like
Yeah.
Mount Rushmore. Like mine's going to be different from yours, Jamie, or yours, Callum. I
Mhm.
mean,
yeah.
It used to be fun talking about.
Yeah, because I like I tell people, I watch wrestling from a different lens.
Mhm.
Sometimes I have to shut off the wrestling side of it and try to sit back and watch as a fan again.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
then I'll see something because, sitting in the room and listening to the guys talk about certain things, like when they're going over a match and they say, "Oh, right here, I want you to do this," and they're like, "Why do you want me to do this?" And then they'll explain it.
Yeah.
Well, if you do it this way, then this is why it'll work a little better. And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, you know what? Makes a hell of a lot of sense. I never would have thought of something like that. So
it kind of comes back to
I take all this information in. So now when I watch it, I'll see something like from that I heard somebody talk about way back when. I say, you know what I mean? And it clicks in instead of I have a hard time sitting back and going, okay, I'm just going to shut everything off and be a fan again.
Yeah.
Which I'm still a fan.
Should we piss some people off anyway? I mean, what is your Mount Rushmore then?
My Mount Rushmore? Yeah, I know. Bad name to say, but you have to put Hogan on your
You have to.
Mount Rushmore because you're talking about the guy who, if it wasn't, he was the right guy to create this vision that Vince McMahon had of turning wrestling into what it is today.
Yeah.
Without him, like somebody said, well, you could have done it with this person or that. No.
No, you couldn't.
That was the perfect storm, and they had the right guy for the right place. And without Hulk Hogan, it doesn't happen.
We might not be speaking right now on this podcast about Hogan. There's a good chance. I think, yeah.
So, and you also have to think of the criteria. Are you talking about the best technical wrestlers, the best workers, or
this is it,
guys who drew money?
I could give you a completely different Mount Rushmore for that.
Right. Like if you want to talk guys who drew money, then you definitely have to put Hogan in there. You've got to put, like
Austin.
You got to put Austin on that list.
Mm-hmm.
You're talking about money guys. You can put Rock on that list, and if you're talking all WWE, Cena. I mean, obviously Ric Flair. If anybody puts Ric Flair on their Mount Rushmore, you can't argue that. In my opinion, opinion also, someone who doesn't get talked about enough for the Mount Rushmores are guys like, as far as in ring, guys like a Shawn Michaels. Kurt Angle doesn't get enough love. AJ Styles. And that's without looking at people in Japan and the UK.
Exactly.
Guys are fantastic.
Yeah.
These are just the worldwide known names.
If you was going for like household name Mount Rushmore, I think you've got to have like your Hogan's on there. But then you said like you've got technical wrestling Mount Rushmore where you'd have Kurt Angle and Regal and stuff like that. So there's all these different Mount Rushmores anyway. It's so subjective. Right. But still,
being from Canada, if I don't mention Brett, then I'll get.
Oh yeah, you've got to mention Brett. I like how you mentioned Shawn Michaels before you mentioned Brett, Jimmy. It's not very Canadian.
Well, Brett's my second favorite. Right? No, that's Gunther's.
Speaking of Canadians, another one is, I mean, the rumors we've heard. Well, do you think Jericho's going to come back to WWE? There's a lot of talk. I personally would like to see him back. I think he needs to come home.
I see that sentiment. Chris is brilliant. He has a brilliant mind for business. Yeah. And this storm that he's created, people are debating it. People are saying, well, what could he accomplish in WWE now? He's like mid-50s now. I don't want to give you a specific number, but
looks incredible though.
No, he looks great.
Yeah.
And he's smart enough. He's smart enough to know how to work
Hmm.
any program with somebody, whoever it is. If he's looking to come back, maybe get that one last run in a Hall of Fame induction,
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with it. If he
Yeah.
chooses to stay with AEW, the one thing I hope they do with him is put him in a position of power to handle talent relations,
Yeah.
um, and take over some of the duties from the boss as far as creative and that sort of thing. Which means he would probably not have an in-ring presence. I wouldn't even mind having him as a work commissioner, authority figure,
Mm.
man in
Yeah.
charge,
Yeah.
that sort of thing, but also someone who has influence in the day-to-day presentation of the show.
Yep, I
Because
agree.
with all due respect, Tony Khan is first and foremost, he's a fan, and
Yeah.
God bless him, because without him, there wouldn't be a viable other option for people to go work,
Agreed.
which is great, which is awesome. But we also want that company to succeed going forward, because if it doesn't, then there isn't that other option for people, and then it's a trickle down effect. It affects the entire business
Yeah,
in a negative
Yeah.
way.
Jimmy, I said this last week that people ask me why I care about ratings and attendance with AEW, and it's not so much that I care about like every show doing well or whatever, or every show performing. It's that overall, the more it happens, the less attendance and the more ratings go down, the more chances are they have of getting cancelled and AEW going under and the talent not having a place to work in the long run. And it has to improve for that to be an option in the long run in 10 years' time. And you can say, oh, I don't care about ratings. And it's like, okay, well, fair enough, but I do because I want this company to succeed.
Yeah.
It's not that I'm wanting them to do wrong, to do badly. I want them to do well. I want them to succeed. I want wrestling across the board to rise up and everyone makes more money. But again, that's another opinion that you shouldn't have, apparently.
Right. You can't share that opinion. See, and people lambaste me on social media because I critique wrestling,
Mhm.
whether
Yeah.
it's WWE, AEW, TNA. It doesn't matter who it is. If I see something that I think deserves a little critique, or something that I think, whereas as they like to say, where the screws need some tightening,
Mhm.
I will say it. But I'm speaking honestly. But people say I'm a little more harsh on AEW than I am WWE. And they say, why is that? Because you're biased. I said, no, because if you look at the business metrics and their numbers, who needs the help right now?
Yeah.
WWE
Absolutely.
is doing just fine. So my critiquing them doesn't affect them in the slightest.
Yeah.
They're going to do what they're going to do. And whether my critique of AEW is correct in some people's eyes or incorrect in some people's eyes, or feels biased, that's for them to decide. But for me, it's what I think needs to be addressed to help them
Yeah.
be
Yeah.
better. That's what. But when did constructive critique now become hate? I don't understand this.
Yeah.
This happened,
Since social media existed, I think.
or as I call it, anti-social media.
Anti-social
Social
media.
media. Yeah. That's
Yeah.
spot
You
on.
know, and if you're going to have an opinion, everybody, God bless you, if you have an opinion. But do me a favor and stop using some Pokemon emoji and some made-up name for your account. Because if you're going to
Yeah.
have an honest opinion about something, uh, uh, man up and put your name to it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Agreed.
Mine's
I,
out there. I don't care.
And like I said, I was saying I don't want the company to fail. I want them to succeed. It's same with you. You're only giving these critiques because ultimately you just want the place for people to work and for
Hmm.
them to do well. Because I think somebody said to me, I said to him in the comments, I was like, Jimmy, you might seem biased to you, but he actually has, when we interviewed you last time, you said a lot of good things about AEW. I know,
Right.
like what? And I was like, go watch the interview, find out. And then I watched the interview back, and you were saying like, oh yeah, they've got some amazing talent. They've put on some great shows. There's some really good highs, but there's quite a few lows as well. So bring
Right.
them up, and the products will be great. And people just have this. idea that you just hate AEW and you want them to fail when you've said it numerous times in this interview. You just want them to succeed. So let it be on record that Jimmy Korderas is not biased and he does want AEW to succeed.
I absolutely do. I want them to succeed. I want TNA to succeed.
Yeah.
I want name the promotion. I don't care. Over here where I live in Toronto, on my Facebook page, there's a lot of independent promotions in the area here. And if I see them pop up on my feed where they're promoting a show, I'll share it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because I'm trying to help everybody. I'm not trying to tear anybody down. If I want to tear somebody down, then I don't belong on here.
Yeah.
Then I'm not being fair to myself, because that's not what I believe in pro wrestling.
Yeah.
And that's not, for the last 40 years that I've been in and around this business, is not about tearing down this business. It's about trying to uplift it and trying to help make it better.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
It makes it better for all of us. You said like the boys and the girls, the workers, but the fans as well. We're spoiled.
Mm-hmm.
It's a wonderful time to be a wrestling fan. It really is.
So spoiled.
We are. It's.
I think we said it last week on an interview, Jamie, that as a fan, we can watch WWE, so many shows, all the back catalogue of shows as well, not just from this week, but from the last 30 years of WWE. We can watch the full back catalogue on demand. We can watch TNA whenever we want. AEW, there's a viable second product right now. We've got New Japan, Ring of Honor is doing okay. Everyone.
MLW, all their shows are free on YouTube. I watch their shows and they're putting on some good stuff.
Maple Leaf Pro, that's another good one from Canada as well.
NWA,
Best Pro Wrestling, Deadlock. There's so many. We're spoiled for choice, and we still find a way to complain. You know what I mean? Like
it's just hard to absorb it all because there's so much of it.
Yeah.
And can we please stop with this? If you don't watch, insert the name of this company here. If you don't watch this company, you're not a real fan.
Yeah. I hate the term real fan anyway.
That drives me insane when I hear that. I'm just like, once you make that comment, you lose all credibility. Come on. That's like saying, oh, I love music, but I don't like this particular genre of music.
You like music? Name every musician.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, you don't know who Teddy Swims is? You're not a real music fan. Like,
yeah, I mean, exactly.
And it's ridiculous.
Is Teddy Swims a real musician?
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
See what I mean? Yeah. If you like smooth music, like nothing over the top, nice and easy to relax.
We'll check him out.
Yeah,
especially with the misses.
Sounds like an indie wrestler, to be honest.
Right.
Or an NXT name.
Well, let me be honest with you. WWE, when he first appeared on WWE, Jelly Roll.
Yeah,
I had no idea. Honestly, I didn't.
Yeah.
And then, of course, what happens? I go, let me check out who this guy is, and then I check out. It's all right.
He's all right, isn't he?
I'm his biggest fan or anything, but it
Same.
served its purpose. Now I went out and to search him out. Same with Logan Paul, a guy like Logan Paul, who, by the way, doesn't has no business being as good as he is.
No, he doesn't.
He's a natural. Yeah,
ridiculous. But with him, everybody talk about Logan Paul, big YouTuber, and I'm like, no idea.
Yeah.
Because I didn't follow that.
Not clear.
Yeah, same. I'd never heard of him. I'd never heard of Jelly Roll. Exactly the same. I seen them here, and it's like, all right, okay.
Yeah.
I don't mind Jelly Roll now. My wife fancies the socks off Jelly Roll now. I always remember just before SummerSlam, the SmackDown before SummerSlam, she was watching it with me, and Randy Orton gets out the car, and then Jelly Roll gets out the car. She looked at me, she went, "Who's he? He's nice." So I'm like, "That's Randy Orton." She goes, "No, the other guy." I was like,
wow.
Yeah, I was like, all right, he's to their own. He's to their own. See, I'm more of a Motorhead Metallica guy. I'm a heavy guy, but there's one. Speaking of Motorhead, was you ever around Lemmy? Did you actually get to meet Lemmy at all,
or? Didn't get to meet him, unfortunately. No, didn't get to meet him. It would have been cool, but because sometimes musicians, Hollywood actors,
Yeah.
sports celebrities show up at shows, but I had other duties sometimes
Yeah.
Mhm.
that took me away from it, especially with being on the production side.
Yeah.
So a lot of times, and people would say, "Hey, did you see Ozzy was here?" I'm like, "Damn, no." You know what I mean? And I will.
Although you did get to become very good friends with Michael Clark Duncan, right? I did read that in the book.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes. Talk about great people. He was
Mm.
so kind-hearted, and
Yeah.
for him to grab the phone and talk to my wife, which was kind of funny at the time. And she's like, "Who's this?" And then when he handed the phone back to me, she goes to me, "Who was that?" I said, "It was Michael Clark Duncan." She goes, "Don't lie to me. Who was it?" I'm serious. It was Michael. And then he grabbed the phone back. Yes, it's really me. And he that was it.
That's pretty cool.
He-
Speaking of celebrities, sorry, Jim, I was going to say, speaking of celebrities and celebrities 10 pro wrestlers, would you say Logan Paul is the best celebrity 10 pro wrestler of all time?
Obviously he's hasn't gotten far enough into his career, but I gotta tell you, he definitely will be.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
he isn't now, he definitely will be.
Do you think he'll be world champion? If you had to call it now, do you think he becomes world champion?
Yes,
Good. Good.
yes.
Great.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
I know
Yes.
people are gonna hate me for that one, but guess what?
Well,
The truth hurts. This guy
yeah.
is that damn good. And everybody, well, he's a part timer and all this sort of stuff. You know what? That's what they said about Roman Reigns. That's what they
Yeah.
said about
Yeah.
everybody else.
For a part
This,
timer, he shows up quite a bit. He's
yes. And
considering his schedule.
he
Yeah,
gets it. He
he does.
understands
Yeah.
it. That's the
Yeah.
thing. Yes, he's amazing athletically, but he's also gifted with his already the understanding of how to be a heel
Yeah.
Mhm.
and play into it.
Yeah.
Obviously, he's not well liked. He knows that, and he dives right in head first.
When Jelly Roll came in and
Mhm.
Logan Paul comes out and says to Jelly Roll, I am fed up of outsiders coming into this business. And I was crying.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So
brilliant.
good.
It's brilliant, man.
He's doing his job because every week I see Logan Paul, you want to see him get punched in the mouth. He's
Yeah.
doing his job.
Exactly.
He's doing his
Exactly.
job absolutely perfectly. So before we wrap up, Jimmy, I am going to bring you back, like I said, 'cause there's so many things to talk about. If you will come back, of course.
Of course.
But are you looking forward to WrestlePalooza?
Actually, yes.
Me too.
It's a good
I
card so far.
Yeah, they did a heck of a job. I know people are talking about the counter programming, but from a business standpoint, I understand why they're doing it.
Yep.
I don't get me wrong. I do not believe they're trying to crush them and put them out of business. I think they're just trying to put them in their place
Yes.
and
Yeah.
just say, "Hey, you guys are number 2 and you're way over here."
Mhm.
So don't think in their mind, they're probably like, don't think you've got a shot at becoming number 1 because you're a long, long way. Yes, and they do have a lot of money.
Hmm.
They do have a lot of money. Let's be honest. But I think that's more of it. But as far as the card goes for WrestlePalooza, I'm looking at it. I'm thinking about it now. The mixed tag match, of course, is going to be
Mhm.
huge. Brock and Cena looks
Yeah.
like is going to happen,
The Usos
and
reunion.
that's going to be the interesting one on what
Mhm.
happens there because Cena has a limited amount of dates. They've already announced that December 13th in Washington D.C. is going to be his
Yeah.
last date. But he's only got what, 6? I'm
6.
trying to remember now. 6 appearances left before then.
I
Mhm.
think so. Yeah.
How
6,
do
7,
how do
something
you
like that.
yeah, how do you space that out enough to get us to December 13th? Because we're
Yeah.
only September now.
Mhm. Yeah,
So
that's a good question. I don't know how
so
they're going to manage that.
so does Brock take out John Cena?
Oh,
Mm.
good
Survive
shout.
for his limited amount
Yeah.
of time, get us to Survivor Series and have something happen at Survivor Series where Brock is facing someone, and guess who shows up and just tears a hide off him to set
Yeah.
up the final match at
I didn't even think of that. That's
because
such a good
because
idea.
the
Yeah.
final opponent could be Brock Lesnar, and in that case, I know the tradition is to have someone who's retiring go out on their back, looking
Hmm.
up at the lights on their shield, but in this case, you can have the best of both worlds. You can have John Cena defeat Brock Lesnar, who at this point is bulletproof. It doesn't matter
Mhm.
Yeah.
if he loses that match. He's still he's still Brock Lesnar. He's still the beast. But to have John Cena go out on a high note, and maybe being in DC, maybe except they have I forget what they call it. Being Canadian, I don't remember all these special awards for civilian awards for someone like a John Cena who's performed so many Make-A-Wishes and done so much for children and that sort of thing. Present him with something like some kind of silver star, or what? Not silver star. That's military. Medal of something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whatever the civilian award is, something like that would be kind of cool.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. Very deserving as well.
Definitely. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just going to say, I do think that's a really good idea, though. Like you mentioned, with Brock putting him out for a bit, which buys a bit of time for him to have those last 6 appearances in that a shorter window. Makes a lot of sense. So
you got to figure out how to space it out. So
you do.
The best word, F25, hit him 5. Well, kind of like Bronson Reed, with the 6 tsunamis.
Yeah.
Hit him, just keep hitting him with F5s until he's left laying, and let him do the stretcher job. Do it on the announce table. Let it collapse into pieces.
Yeah. Perfect.
Yeah. And Brock just says, look, your career might be ending in December, but I'm going to end it tonight. And, he's going to put him out now and cut his retirement short. And it'll just get him a load of heat.
December.
Yeah.
You're not going to make it to December, whatever the case.
That's it.
Let people come out. Forget security guards. You've got a bunch of producers and agents who are actually, wrestlers.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let him F5 a bunch of those guys too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Let him F5 Charles. Charles likes taking bumps.
He does. He does. Would you take an F5 if you were there right now?
Right now, no, not at my age. But back then, yeah, absolutely. Now, if I took an F5, I don't want to say it.
I think we'd all turn to dust. Any of us at any age.
Yeah.
But man, that's I mean, I'm looking forward to it as well. That's a hell of a way. I'm totally on board with that as well. I think that'd be brilliant.
Mm-hmm. Get Jimmy on creative. I'll just say that now.
Yes,
get Jimmy on creative.
Yeah. Absolutely. But Jimmy, it's been amazing as always. I cannot thank you enough. I know we said this.
My pen with me.
Off air.
I need to find a pencil though.
Get the ideas written down.
You need a pencil.
But you have to be able to erase them just in case.
But I know I said this before we recorded. It is an absolute honour. Like I said, I've been a fan since 1988, and you're a big part of that, man. So to be able to talk to you, not once. This is the second time now. Hopefully, get you back again. It's been an absolute pleasure. I can't thank you enough.
Pleasure's been mine, guys. I really appreciate it. Thank you for asking me to be a part of this, and we will do it again.
Amazing.
Absolutely. I enjoyed this very much.
And before you go, Jimmy, is there anything you want to promote yourself? Anyone you want to plug?
Oh, sure. Well, you already promoted my book, so thank you for that. As far as anything else, I'm part of a couple of podcasts myself. The Roughing It Up podcast with my good brothers in stripes, Brian Hebner, and current TNA lead official, Daniel Spencer. I got to mention RJ too. He holds that glue together. He pushes all the buttons so we can actually do this thing. I have fun doing that. I have another show called Huge Pop Radio with my good buddy Donnie De Silva, and we're just having fun talking about wrestling. That's what it's supposed to be.
About.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that's what we're doing. And of course, my Ref and Rants on all my social media platforms from Monday to Friday. Just a minute and a half or so long, whatever it is. Just little critiques here. Again, in my critiques, I try to have fun with them. And, you can agree, you can disagree.
Yeah.
That's fine.
That's fine.
Just be nice about it.
So that's what it's all about. It's about fun.
Or you might get snarky Jimmy.
The best Jimmy.
But honestly, again, Jimmy, it's been amazing. I will stay in touch. We'll arrange to get you back. But for now, Jimmy Korderas, thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.